We just got our first update on a new Avatar series from the literal creator himself. It's honestly kind of confusing and a little bit vague, but here I am, here to connect all of the dots so you guys don't have to. As always, I'm going to need each and every single one of you to stay until the end of the video so you get a full understanding of what's happening. Trust me, you're going to need it. On today's episode of Braving the Elements, Bryan, who is the co-creator of Avatar and the co-chief creative officer at Avatar Studios, finally dropped hints about a new Avatar project. Now, there is a lot of confusing things here, and I might have some information I heard a while back to clear things up, but here's what he said.
Well, I can't obviously give any specifics, but I can just say the thing that I have personally been working on the past several months.
Yes.
Has been very heavily involved in character design, and it's a new direction for the Avatar verse. And I didn't originate it. There was an artist I was a fan of, and we contacted, and the first drawings that he put down, I was like, that's it. And
wow.
I got chills.
And the heads are quite large. But
quite large heads!
Here.
Large by
those large heads.
Large by Avatar standards.
Large by Avatar standards. Okay.
Yeah, I'm so excited about this style. It's not my style, but it is one that I just cannot wait to inhabit.
Oh my god. Okay.
So
Well, there's gonna be so much to talk about when it's all out in the world, and we can do that. Until then, Bryan. Yes, one of our two dads. Thank you so much for doing great.
Straight off the bat, I am 99% sure I know who the artist is that he's referring to and what this series is going to look like. And we'll get to that, but first, I have to clear up what the official YouTube channel is saying because there is a really good chance they're wrong. The official YouTube channel titled this video, Avatar Creator on Aang's Design Evolution plus hints at new movie. But he is clearly not talking about the new movie here. If he was talking about the new movie everyone's looking forward to, then that would be really bad. But no, he's not. Here's why. This episode of Braving the Elements was filmed at most 3 to 5 months ago based on the announcement and emails that they sent out to all of the guests. But also, we know what the movie looks like. Here is the official image. This was shown at CinemaCon. The head sizes are normal, and it's also been in production since 2021. So there is absolutely no way he was working on character designs for this movie 3 to 5 months ago. We should be well past that stage of designing characters. This movie is headed into its 4th year of production. If we're working on character design still, there's something wrong going on. And honestly, throughout my years doing this YouTube stuff, talking to insiders, and really just paying attention to everything that comes out about Avatar, the admins who run the social media accounts, like the YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all of those, they typically know less about what's going on than even the fans. So there is a really good chance that the YouTube admin just listened to this podcast and was like, hey, the only confirmed thing is the new movie, so he must be talking about that, right? Now, I'm pretty sure that this is referring to an Avatar series and not a movie. Here's why. Take this next part with a massive grain of salt. I am not telling you that this information is 100% facts, but I've heard some behind the scenes stuff at Avatar Studios from a source I can't name. So again, take this with a massive grain of salt. But it lines up perfectly with what Bryan is saying in this podcast. About a month ago, I received an anonymous DM from someone claiming to work at Viacom, and they claimed to be decently high up on the production chain. And basically, what they told me is that Paramount had recently done some CGI tests for a new Avatar series. If Bryan and Avatar Studios were working on character designs around 5 months ago, then them doing CGI tests around the time of this DM makes perfect sense. This does not mean that the new series is going to be 100% CGI. If I'm not mistaken, they also did CGI tests for Avatar The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra, which were mostly hand-drawn animation. I never reported on this prior because I always felt like there wasn't much to these claims, but with Bryan saying this, the timeline just adds up too well, so I figured I'd mention it here. Also, for everybody doubting these DMs, which you have the right to doubt it, I also doubted it at first, if you guys followed this channel during Netflix's Avatar, the way I started leaking things was from the same way, just people DMing me. And as you guys know, we got a lot of that stuff right. As for what the series is going to look like, I have a pretty good idea. Bryan mentions 2 things that give us a massive hint. He mentions bringing on a new artist that he's a fan of, and he mentions it having a large head type art style. There is only one person in Bryan's Instagram following that matches this description perfectly. His name is Ulyss Malisson. Now, if you're watching this, Ulyss, I'm so sorry if I mispronounced your name. I'm not French, it's just really hard for me. From what I can see, Bryan is a big fan of this guy. He likes most of his posts, and his art style perfectly matches the description he said in the podcast. Bryan said this is a new direction for Avatar, which this seems pretty new, and has large heads, and the heads, as you can see, are very large. This would in fact be a new direction for Avatar. They haven't done anything that's too similar to this. Now, there is one more massive thing that supports these claims. Paramount has actually done work with this guy's studio before too. Ulyss is a co-founder, producer, and director at Studio La Cachette. This same exact studio has done animation for The Legend of Korra in the past. So matching the description Bryan gave, along with Paramount's history with this production company, I am 80% sure this is the direction Avatar is going for their future Avatar series. Now, I don't think this is going to be a permanent thing. In the past, Paramount said they were interested in doing short form content and miniseries for Avatar. This style makes perfect sense for a miniseries. I just can't imagine a long running 100 episode series looking like this. Now, I was curious for how this art style would look with Avatar characters, so I actually had my thumbnail artist try to make a thumbnail with this art style, combining it with Avatar to get an idea of what this is going to look like. And as you can see, it's kind of adorable. If you want to check out some of his other work, I'll leave a link in the description down below. However, in other Avatar news, Bryan once again confirmed that Avatar Studios is still working on multiple projects at once, which we already knew, but it's kind of nice to get that extra reassurance because of all the drama happening at Paramount. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of all the information in the comment section down below. Like and subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys probably Saturday.